4,240 pounds and previously known as the Passport Express, now known as the Passport SL 239ML here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is a ideal, like lightweight camper for someone looking to do some family bunkhouse camping, but you don't want to tow long, or you don't want to or can't tow heavy. Now, compared to last year, or the previous generation as it were, it's gone through a complete interior-exterior facelift. Generally speaking, very little has changed beyond cosmetics, just a couple little fine-tuned things. What is nice, though, is we now have a heated enclosed belly, but what's also cool is it does not really seem to appear that the price has gone up, even though the products got better, and that is a good combination of things.
Now, one of the areas I think this is most improved versus the previous generation is not just the cosmetic elements of it, although I think inside and outside this has a dynamite look compared to the previous generation. My battery box is dwindling on me. I'm going to have to switch that out after this. Sorry, I saw something shining. Anyway, but their Murphy bed. I was not a big fan of the previous generation of Passport Murphy bed. It's what I call a bendy bed. It had 3 sections that folded out, had this fabric hinge. It was more like a bunk mattress than a real mattress. And it was one of the areas I was super vocal with the Passport team. I'm like, man, if you guys can please do something with this, it would be great. And they really put their heads together, and I love what they came up with. Because at a glance, it looks very similar to what we saw before, but it functions so much differently. First of all, and this is a big thing, almost all Murphy beds are short camp queens. That is not the case now. This is a 60 by 80 residential queen. The other thing is, this is no longer what I call a bendy bed. It's a one-piece mattress. There's no seams. There's no bends. All you do is lift the wall right up. And what's kind of cool about this, guys, you can leave the bedding in place now. You don't have to make the bed every morning, every night. And what's also cool here is someone says, yeah, but how does it lock down? It doesn't. It doesn't have to, because the top of the bed does not sink down into the pass-through storage. When we go outside, you'll see this has a full unimpeded pass-through storage compartment. The headboard of the bed area, the part that would be right under your head, it doesn't move. It doesn't drop. So you can leave your pillows up front. You can use this for storage. It is simpler. It's easier than it's ever been. You can jackknife the sofa down and voila! You go from nighttime mode to daytime mode like that. And what's great here, guys, is that, again, you can leave the bedding in place. You don't have to constantly remake the bed. And whether you're going to just kind of change your clothes real quick, or it is nighttime and you need some privacy, you do maintain a full privacy curtain right here. So you can pull it shut if you want to, or just don't worry about it if you don't care.
And Murphy beds are a really cool concept like this, because it's not that this is necessarily any less weight than another 23-foot Ultralite, guys. It's that it's less weight than a 28-foot Ultralite, because this gives us the sleeping capacity and the seating capacity of a bigger RV, or an RV with a slide-out, without the extra length, weight, or cost. That's what a Murphy bed does for you. It's 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound sack, basically. What is neat is when you do have it down in bed mode like we saw, you still have your dual hanging closet, so you still have normal hanging storage. I like that they put mirrors on those that really help make this thing look and feel bigger, but I also like that they leave these side stands wide open over here, and if you notice, there are household and USB outlets on both sides. They did a good job of that, putting USB plugs all over the place in this now. That's something that they were kind of missing a little bit in the previous generation, and once again, it's another one of those cool little updates that doesn't really seem to be costing you anymore compared to last year. I do like all the cross breeze windows here, and that big vertical kitchen window right there that can slide open for breeze directly across from the screen door. You choose to open that sucker up, you are going to enjoy it. Speaking of breeze, up here, you've got this extra vent right here that it kind of doubles as a skylight, but obviously, it's a vent. If you want to open it up to exhaust some heat, you certainly can. Now, one of the other things I like to point out on these is that it's a full interior height. It's not a reduced height camper. So even at 6'2" or 6'3", I can walk under this thing and never crack my head on anything. Now, right above the door, and again in the pass-through, you're going to find motion-activated lighting. So that just as you open the door, voila, it'll kick right on. Now, you can hard turn it off or hard turn it on. But on motion mode, it'll be on when you need it. It'll be off when you don't. Isn't that just handy? Isn't that just smart? It's funny how sometimes the simplest things can just be, you know, the absolute most effective. In addition to the bunks, You also have this big 4-person dinette, which is something that the narrow body 7-foot wide campers without a slide out just really can't offer, because you wouldn't have any walk around space. So that can convert down into a larger sleeper if need be, which can make this, you know, sleep. It'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4 individual like beds for an easy sleeping of 5, but really could go up to 7, pretty much no sweat. Plus, you have a little bit of bonus storage below the seating. Now, I've taken all the cushions off, but I wanted to specifically note this area is not necessarily intended for storage from the top. They kind of revamped that compared to last year and turned this into your shoe garage. Now, if you're not into the little blue accent light, you can turn that off. But the idea there, again, is that it gives you kind of a guide point when you walk in the door to see where you're at so you don't smash into something, which is handy if mom and dad are trying to slip in to get to the fridge or get to the bathroom while the kids are snoozing. But also, handy to be able to see your shoes in the morning or at night when you're leaving. So you do have some extra storage here for the not common use stuff. And then you've got these new pockets up top right here. They've revamped their entertainment center here, and they've made it a little more expansion friendly. You've got this Furrion Bluetooth stereo here. You can sync your phone to it. You can actually take hands-free calls through it because it does have a microphone. You have both headphone, auxiliary, and HDMI inputs. So if you want to get one of those streaming sticks, you can plug that in here and power it off that USB plug. Or you could put a Blu-ray or a satellite or something here. Now this pocket was left open and kind of be like a utility charge station, entertainment station, and that's why you have some USB charging plugs on top. Now as long as we have this cabinetry open, I do want to make mention of the fact that these are nice hardwood cabinet doors. You know, they do a good job putting this together, and the cabinetry itself is pocket screwed, so it's not like particle board and sawdust that's just sort of been compressed and smashed together. Now behind the TV actually does act like an extra cabinet door, and it does give you a little bit of extra storage there, but obviously you can see that the TV does swing out for easy viewing, which is very handy from the forward-facing, or technically rear-facing dinette, or from the front sofa here in daytime non-sleeper mode. From there, before we work our way around, I do want to point out the extra large dinette window on the camp side of the RV. And having windows on the awning side of the camper is just not something that you find in small RVs a lot. Usually you find a lot of kitchens over here, and by putting the seating on this side, it allows you get to look at your campsite, not at the neighbor's site. Now, the kitchen area over here, what I like is that this is not the world's biggest RV, not the world's biggest kitchen, but God bless America if it does not have a lot of storage and counter space. So we already talked about the good quality cabinetry they're doing here versus like particle board stuff, or one of my favorite phrases for cheap cabinetry is beaver puke. Just a tongue-in-cheek term. In truth, there's nothing wrong with particle board cabinetry that's stapled together. It's okay, but this is better. This is a lightweight trailer. The goal of this camper, guys, is that if you're like, listen, I'm looking for a small, lightweight family camper that I can use for like 8 to 10 years and then swap out for the big couples RV of my dreams here at Haylet RV, that's what this one is. So you saw we have a full depth overhead cabinet that does not sink back, and then down below the countertop, God bless America, they really just packed this sucker with all sorts of storage capacity, including under the oven. They even went ahead and opened that pocket up right there. And I like that it's a swing open door and not what I call a drop down knuckle buster, because as you can tell by my name for it, it busts your knuckles. Now, here's another one of these neat little updates that doesn't appear to be costing anything more compared to last year, and that is the pressed membrane countertops that they're using in the Passport kitchens now. So it's more water resistant. Another thing is they've gone to a tempered glass recessed stovetop so that we've got more prep space there. Now we've got a nicer sink fixture compared to last year. And listen, you can hear the difference between quality metal fixtures and cheaper plastic ones. This is a less expensive RV. This is a lighter weight RV. It's not a cheaply built RV. It is simple but effective. It's a workhorse. That's what this is right here. Now, to maximize prep space, we also have a sink cover and this new stainless farm sink compared to the dual basin plastic sink they had last year. And again, more updates here that are not appearing to cost you anything more compared to the previous generation. And that is a really hard thing to find. Passport just said, you know what? With our buying power, with our bulk purchase power, we're going to make this thing better than ever, and we're going to control the cost of it through our volume of sales. Oh, by the way, you have little night light knobs down here. If you need an extra little like air traffic controller light to get to the bathroom at night, you got it. Now, we're still not done with the storage, because as much cabinet space as we have, we still have a big dedicated pantry. But you notice that it's got a hanging rod at the top of it. That's because these are removable shelves. So if you want to convert this into a closet or a half closet, or give the kids some storage space, this can be whatever you want it to be. Now, the bathroom is simple, but simply effective. I say that about a lot of basic bathrooms, but they get the job done. You know, what more do you need them to do? We have a real medicine cabinet, not just a mirror on the wall, a skylight and a vent fan, protective shower wall surround paneling. It's a family camper, man. It gets the job done. And of course, we've got our double bunks, but notice the double windows on the bottom here. The reason they do that is because this window can be covered up by the outside kitchen door. So they wanted to make sure you always got airflow no matter which bunk you were on. And I'm glad I looked up here, because I just realized that window's cracked open, and I sure don't want it to rain in here tonight, because I don't think you'd want to buy the camper after that, and I wouldn't blame you. Oh, quick note. You also have power outlets in the bunk so that on a rainy day, kids can plug in their chargers and keep from, you know, driving you crazy. Now, I mentioned inside how these guys have excellent service records, and that ain't no jive. Passports have had stellar records here the last, well, really since we've carried them over 5 years now at Haylett RV. There's a lot of little reasons for it. Like I mentioned you know, aluminum structure, or if I haven't, I just did. There you go, all aluminum structure in this thing. And just the consistency of their builds, the way they do the same thing the same way every single time. I think that has a lot to do with it. But another thing is the chassis that this rides on. The Norco frame, it's a huck-bolted Z frame. It's lighter weight, but stronger, made with higher grade steel, but not less expensive. And that's really the recurring trend in a Passport. They'll do the things that really matter, and they'll spend good money on them if they have to. But they don't spend over-the-top money on something just for the sake of flash and sizzle and flare. Like the cabinet doors inside, they were flat panel cabinet doors. But you know what? It'll keep your cereal and your cargo in that cabinet as well as anything else, so they don't spend wasteful money there. Now, tinted windows, magnet catch baggage doors, the better chassis down here, those are daily use, feature, function, quality of service items. So Passport spends better money on those things. That's who these guys are. They're a smart money ultralight. Really good choice, again, for first-timers or someone trying to get away from a pop-up or a hybrid or what have you. The underbelly of these, as I mentioned when the video opened, is now heated and enclosed, which it was not previously. That is a nice update that they've applied to these over the previous Express generation. Full outside utility shower and black tank flush have made the cut, thankfully. And optional aluminum wheels. That being said, I don't think you'll find a set of white steel wheels on a Passport here at Haylett RV unless something really wacky or unforeseen took place. Those optional aluminum wheels just look too darn good to pass up. That is one of those areas that, to keep it from any sort of surface corrosion, to you know, not have to worry about that. Now, the spare tire will always be steel, because again, that's just a quick spare. You only need to, you know, that's not going to be the tire you see all the time. Next to the spare, though, is your little sewer hose caddy tube. You can kind of see the little access door for it there. And that's nice to be able to keep your black tank stuff away from your fresh water stuff, because those are two things that you absolutely, positively do not want mixing together. And it still shocks me how many times people will trade in a camper with one tote that has fresh water and black water stuff mixed together. Stop doing that. Another of the many things they really nailed on this one is they put the biggest awning on it they possibly could. I like that it goes past the entry door. I like that it covers the outside kitchen. I like that it's 2-finger easy tilt. And I mean 2-finger easy tilt. I do my own sound effects. I also do my own stunts. The thing is, though, I live a very low-impact lifestyle. So there you go. That's all it takes. If you want to crank this awning down and tilt it, that's all that's required. Now, if you forget that the awning's cranked like that and you roll it back up, doesn't matter. It'll self-correct. You can't break it. Pretty darn handy. The other neat thing on this awning is it's one of the only component modular awnings on the market. So God forbid the wind does get a hold of it, it's easy to replace individual pieces and parts, not the whole kit. That's one of the cool things here. Their low-profile telescoping outside kitchen, Passport really kind of, I think, wrote the book on this. When outside kitchens were big and huge and bulky, they figured out a way to make them small but still super functional at no loss of sleeping space. And those little wing-out countertops that stick out of both sides of that extension, that's just a stroke of genius right there, because it's an otherwise kind of wasted space most brands don't utilize. And Passport said, hey, for like no money, we could actually make this thing work really well. And having even a fridge outside, even if you don't care about the cooking, just having a place to wash your hands and having that fridge outside to keep some bottled water and barley pop so that you're not walking in and out of the camper all day, that is super, super handy stuff right there. The aluminum wheels are an upgrade that we like to apply to these. That being said, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find a Passport on the market without aluminum wheels. At least, I don't believe that we plan on stocking them like that here at Haylett RV, because these things are just good looking. All the way under the awning, you do have full-length LED lighting, and against that white sidewall and the white under awning area, it will brighten and lighten up in here very, very nicely. You know, more time under the patio, more time camping. That's the whole point of camping, you know, to spend more time doing stuff, you know, away from work, away from home, all that. This door, by the way, is strutted. There's a little gas strut at the bottom. The reason that they do that is so that this awning doesn't flip open past 90 degrees and smash the, or the door doesn't open and smash the awning, rather. Because if you hit that awning sideways, it's going to be toast, guys. Now, if you really want to, you could disengage that, but do so at your own risk. That's just a little tip from your Uncle Josh there. Another quick note on the white sidewall skin. It's going to pick up and generate less heat from the sun. Taller package campers are cool. They're all the rage. I get it. But they are going to generate a little more heat than something like this. Now, up front here, they have a big expanded pass-through storage compared to last year, and it's also an easy way to get to see the all-aluminum skeleton inside the Keystone Passport series. In point of technicality, it actually has galvanized stamped steel roof trusses, but generally the phrase all aluminum is going to be used because the biggest thing people want to know is it made of wood or not? The skeleton of this one is not made of wood. So they made this was always wide, but they made it taller, and the sections under the nightstands they made even taller this year. Now, whether it's the main entry door or here in the pass-through, we've got motion sense lighting, and you can, I have it on motion mode right now, and then you can turn it off, or you can just turn it hard on, so it can kind of do whatever you want. And when it's on motion mode, we assume sort of like a refrigerator door that, you know, when you're not moving or when you close the door that it shuts off. But we're never really sure, are we? At least I've never climbed into a refrigerator long enough to find out. I've done a lot of dumb things in my life, but that is certainly not one of them right there. So, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between, with the exception of hidden dealer fees, we leave those to the big box stores. We put all kinds of fair pricing right up front where it's easy to see, and we don't try to hit you between the eyes after the fact. So, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. We'll see you soon.